would say more than 6 years. I know each other, and I have in business, and he has been my mentor in some of the things which I have also learned from him. So when I started my second innings of stock market, which I mentioned in 2021, so that time I was in discussion with him and I used to share with him because he was already doing some professional services. So he runs his own Telegram channel where he will give some, this thing, buy this stock. So when I was doing, I thought, why not do this also, because options I didn't have much of an idea. So I joined his Telegram channel, and this bugger used to take 2,000 rupees from me every month. I said, okay, I will pay you. Let me also see what you give. So I just used to notice what he will give. So sometimes he will give Nifty call, buy this price, this stop loss, and some arrow will come. So sometimes I used to, but most of the time I used to miss it because of manual problem. Because manual execution, by the time I will go and search and add, and he will say out of the trade, means target hit. So target hit किया तो मैं क्या करूँ अभी वापस? So a lot of times I would think कि ये जो चीज इसने दिया ये कुछ तो अच्छा ही है, एक बार टारगेट हुआ, then again it will come down. Sometimes by mistake I will enter again, hoping कि this time target will get hit, but वो target नहीं hit होता था, stop loss hit होता था, कई बार stop loss लगाता भी नहीं था मैं, and वो कुछ और ही hit हो जाता था. So I also used to face those kind of problems. So, but I learned, and then I understood he has some mechanics of his own through which he does all this option buying. So it was all buying, right? Option buying in Nifty and Bank Nifty, and also some stock options. So he will find some very good opportunity. He will give those, and people make money. But the problem is again greed. So in his group also, I'm sure कि there are people when they think अच्छा 2 lot लिया तो 5,000 बन गया, and in buying कि पैसे का तो कोई लिमिट नहीं है, आपके अकाउंट में अगर 4 लाख है तो 2 लॉट नहीं, आप 200 लॉट 2,000 लॉट भी ले सकते हो. तो कभी मन में आ जाता है कि आज तो 2,000 ही मार लेते हैं, और जिस दिन आप 2,000 मारोगे तो पता है क्या होगा. So lot of those things happen, and he will share with you. So Manjesh is, as I said, we go long way back. He's a very down to earth guy, and but he's very clean-hearted, always willing to help people, and that's why we connect a lot. So when and he was the first person. So when I started option selling, I started teaching him कि अब तुम मेरे से सीखो option selling क्या होता है. And he said, yeah, option selling तो I never did. मैंने कहा सीखो, and I used to send him a profit snapshot 70,000, 1 lakh, and he will say, wow, what are you doing? मतलब अभी अभी आके. Then I also used to share him कि भाई loss भी हुआ. So we used to discuss. So he was one guy, I will tell you, when I was going losses only, so he was the only one with whom I shared. And I said, यार अभी तो बहुत लॉस हो रहा है. Then he was like, होता है, चलता है, थोड़ा सा डिसिप्लिन रखेंगे हम लोग, ये करेंगे. I said, okay. So I want to thank him because he was someone actually with whom I could share when I was, doing all this hit and trial kind of thing. And when I started my courses, जब मैंने कहा कि चलो अब हम भी बनते हैं कोच और मेंटर, अब हम सिखाएंगे लोगों को. तो he was the first guy with whom I shared. मंजेश पता है मैंने सिस्टम ट्रेडिंग चालू किया है, वो भी एल्गो. तो बोला भाई क्या है ये, बहुत अच्छा, मैंने नाम सुना है. तो मैंने कहा यार तू तो कर पहले. So he happily paid me 20,000 rupees, and he was the first person who believed in me. So give him a huge round of applause. So that is what friends are, and obviously there were other people also who believed me and all. But he was there, and he started doing it, and so we are doing it together now. And as I said, Manjesh is he is already retired, I would say, because he already quit his job. He was an IT guy. I think he was a developer, but nowadays he does only trading. Okay, so he teaches also, and mostly he's into buying. तो वो buyer है, मैं seller हूँ. कभी-कभी मैं भी उसको inspire होके थोड़ा बहुत buying करता हूँ. So he will teach us all about this thing, manual trading. What are the things, how to execute orders, what are things that we need to keep in mind. So can we ask Manjesh Kumar? Okay, so please come over and give him a huge round of applause, guys. So he will be showing us So he's also founder of SPCon Software Solutions Private Limited, right? So welcome, Mukesh. And any question, please ask him with regards to this manual problem. Like आप मेरे से डरना मत कि अरे क्या तुमको आता नहीं क्या मैं सब भूल जाओ empty होगा you don't know anything ask him okay but after this session you should not have any issue तो कल जब मैं बोलूंगा ये बाई करना और फिर ये मत बोलना कि हमको नहीं कि हमको आता नहीं है okay so make sure you
thank you Amit. And it's an honor, like, you know, I'm being introduced by my coach. And I'm very much grateful for him. And I mean, he was one of the person where I was very introvert. I was not talking to anyone much. And now I'm talking to so many people on the stage. So, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Yes. See, I learned from him and so many other who are people who are very successful. They always have high energy. Keep your energy high. Definitely, you will be able to attract a lot of money. So always have high energy. Now, tell me, good afternoon. Good. So to talk about myself, like I'm also from middle class family, and where I could relate, you know, so many things when Amit and were talking about. So I was also coming from a very small background, and there was a purpose like why I came into trading. I mean, into trading. And one thing was like, you know, when I was in the national college school days, and I saw like, you know, my father was also doing a business. He was having a construction business. But the thing here is like, you know, he was not able to cope up the expenses what he said. So when I asked some money for him, he sold something and he gave me the money. Without keeping any money for him, he gave me. That is the day I decided like, you know, I have to make something big for my family. And I decided something like this, like when any soldier who are ready to take a bullet for Indian people, same thing I can also do someone like where I can be able to do something for my family and I can able to achieve. And that's how I started studying. Till then I was not like, you know, very good at studies. But after that day, like, you know, I went to engineering, I did computer science engineering, and then so I did my engineering, then I joined Infosys. That time, like, you know, everyone thinking like, you know, dream job is Infosys. So I joined Infosys, then I shifted to Wipro. I worked for a couple of companies and even Intune. So it is like one of the best companies in India to work. Then I realized like, you know, there's something big where I'm looking for and it is not in my cup of tea. So that's how I started. And I realized like, you know, since I was a pass out of 2008 and I could see like, you know, there was a big recession and no one were offering job for us. And that was a time like, you know, we were working and we were putting resumes on each company. I used to go and put resume and no one were offering a job. So I realized on that day itself, you know, there is something which we have to do. Because I could able to see there were a lot of jobs which are getting hired. And we should do something scalable for where I can able to develop. So that will help me first and then I can also help others. So that's how I started. From 2010, I saw a lot of ups and downs. Which kicked me is like I started with 50,000, I made it to 3 lakh in 3 months at the initial stage where I was to do investment and something. So that is a thing where it kicked me like, you know, there is a lot of money where I have to work upon. And slowly, like, you know, there was a lot of ups and downs. So then I was talking to Amit Bhai. So we met each other in global meetings and that's how we shared. So we were always thinking about, you know, leveraging. It could be a time leverage or it could be a money leverage. So we always think in terms of that. So that's how we started sharing. And as Kanak Ravi was saying, like, you know, he was not sharing. And we both were sharing each other and we were thinking, like, you know, what should we tell to our wives when the last goes on? And similarly, like, there are a lot of upstairs, like, where you could be able to make 3 lakhs in a day, which is possible. That was like an options where I'm talking about, and I'll show you like how it is very important to know, because lot of whenever you're doing manual trades, you will have emotion and you do lot of mistakes. So that time anyway I'm going to talk about. And that was a purpose, like, slowly I went into, and now I started my own company, software company, parallelly, I do trade. And there was a place like, as I told, that was a day like, where it hit me for, I have to do something big. And now at that stage, we were on that stage. Now there are a lot of parallel source of income which I have built. So I'm out of the job and doing the things. I always recommend everyone, like, do different things so that it will generate some money for you, which will always help you at the difficult stage. So this is my introduction. Now, another thing here is most important. Whenever our coach sends a message, how many of you does implement seamlessly? So there are very few people who can do it. So that is the thing which I want to talk about. The reason is, how many know cricket? I hope everyone knows cricket, right? Whether it is Lords, whether it is Wankhede, Sachin goes, he plays the straight drive as perfectly as what he does, right? Similar way, whatever happens in the market, whether up, down, or whether it is sideways, you should do your execution so perfectly. That is the only thing which is there in your hand. Whether profit, whether loss, everything you can able to calculate. But if you don't execute properly, if you're in a confusing state, you will be able to make mistake, and that mistake will be very costly. And why we always need to go towards selling, that is also I'll talk about. Because buying, you can do with a small money, but when you are scaling it up, so if you want to scale it up for 1 crore, you cannot go and place 1,000 quantity, 2,000 quantity, and your heart will, no, it will blast. So, because there is a lot of emotion you want, the reason is simple. Whatever money you earn, it is your hard-earned money. So you have to always value it. So when your hard-earned money you put and it is getting lost, automatically your emotion disturbs. So in that process, you will make mistake and you will lose more. So those are things which I want to talk about. Any questions, you are always free to ask. And I showed all the things in the execution, how each order we can able to place, where you have to do, what are the options which are available with your current broker, and how you can able to use using platforms, what you can able to do. So all those things I want to talk about. Okay, so always be free to ask any questions. If you have any doubts, you can immediately ask. So today agenda is like we learn about placing order and what is the insight of a buyer. Now, the reason why I am talking about insight of a buyer always think like if this trade goes, I get this much of money. They always don't think of if this trade goes wrong, how much money I'm going to lose. That is the thing most retailers don't do. So the first thing always you should keep in mind, it can also go wrong. So we'll talk about the insight also. Right? So there are different types of orders. One is like market order, limit order, stop loss order, bracket order, GTT order. So these are different types of orders which you get. Another thing here is, as soon as you get a message, something like, let's assume you want to sell 44,500 strike, you want to sell, right? So most people, what they will do, they will go here and you will place an order like this, right? It could be a buy or it could be a sell. The first thing is, this how you want to do it. Here, what I'm trying to do here is, it is a market price. So if you are selecting at the market, whatever the price it is displaying, so based on that price, either you will buy or you will do the sell. And quantity you have to define. Now the thing here is, most of the time what happens is, instead of doing this, if someone having a bigger margin, you put 1 0, it will buy 250 quantity. And this happens unknowingly. After you buy only, you will come to know, right, now I bought this much of quantity. So this is always important, how much you are putting as a quantity. Next thing is, you have to see the margin. So these are the key points where you have to always keep in mind. What is the margin which you are putting in? Because he will define where you have to enter, where you have to exit also. Two things you have to keep in mind here. One is quantity, other thing is margin. Now, many of times what happens, let's assume like you have also have a sell position and you are trying to place an order. There could be a margin issue where you will not be able to place. So always keep in mind, it will show if there is no margin, it will give an error. There is an insufficient money, some error message you will be able to get. So keep these two in mind and then you can do a buy or you can do a sell based on these instructions. This is very much important. And this is how you have to do. Okay. Now, before this, I want to show you like how many are like making the watch list first. How many know to create a watch list? Okay, how many don't know to create a watch list? Very important. Because the reason why the watch list is important is as soon as you get a message, you can able to place. If you don't have that watch list, you go search, and then based on the search, you'll be able to see like whether that is a strike which you are selecting, which current expiry or monthly expiry. So those things we should be able to see, or else you will be able to make mistakes. I did personally, even though I have so much of experience. Personally, I did. Instead of buying the or selling the current month, I did for monthly. So these things will happen. So and also whenever you are doing something like that, when he mentions any price, after seeing these two, see the price there also. Let's assume if he mentions 50 rupees to sell, and you select a strike and based on some number, like let's assume 43,500, something like that. If you select the same number, but if it is a monthly expiry, the price would be different. So that is how you have to differentiate, which is very, very important. So when you are placing these kind of orders, you should see these three things. What is the margin? What is the quantity you are placing? And what is the price which you are buying or selling?
Okay, just one moment. So, how many of you have already committed that error by selecting something else, but you are supposed to do something else? कभी हुआ है sir? You have done, right? आपके साथ भी हुआ है, correct? So it happens, right? It has happened with me also. So at times in the hurry. So for what kind of mistakes can happen? Just brave. Instead of C, you will do B. Instead of 44,300, you can select 43,200. They look similar, right? 40,000 के बदले 42 हो सकता है. As he mentioned, expiry. So you have to take care of that also. Are you doing it current expiry or some other expiry? And the most important thing is look at the price, because अभी आपको मतलब कोई option 700 का चल रहा है and you go and buy, so you have to use your common sense ना कि why this price is so high, isn't it? So whenever you place such orders, always look at the price. Where is the underlying right now? Where is Bank Nifty or Nifty, and look what strike you are going for. Is it okay? Everyone is clear on this, or some of you still don't understand?
I will also show it in application. Post we go through all these concepts, so it will be easy for you as like how fast we can able to search.
Yes, because it has to be very fast. And one more important thing is margin, right? So margin you have to take care, because if you are selling, is the good part in selling is your quantity will always be limited, correct? Because selling requires, it will block some margin. Buying does not require margin, and that is where your quantity can go down. So instead of 50, it has happened with me. I wanted to buy 2 lots. By mistake, it became 500. and I didn't even realize it. Trade लेके कुछ तो काम आ गया. I just went there and there. And as you know what happens, luck कभी हमारे साथ होता नहीं है ना? किस्मत का तो काम है कि आपका परीक्षा लेगा. And that day happens to be like that only. Once I come back, I see, oh my God, ये क्या दिख रहा है? Minus 50,000? ये कैसे हो गया? Then I look at the quantity 500, 10 times more. So those kind of things happen, correct? So that is why I always say new people refrain from doing it. New, and when I say new means I don't go with the vintage कि मैं 2 साल से कर रहा हूँ. New means if you don't know, you are still new. If you know, it's okay, you can take it, correct? So everyone is clear with this, right? Because see, मार्केट को तो वैसे भी पैसा लेना है आपसे, वो लेगा ही ना. अपनी गलती से क्यों दे, करेक्ट? अपनी गलती से क्यों दे कि मेरे से ये गलती हो गया, एल्बो का इशू, वो नहीं करना है.
And one more thing is like, let's assume like initially we used to take a hedge. In the sense like we are selling the at the money, call up put. We used to take a hedge in the trade turn. So in the trade turn, when you're doing a modification, let's assume we instruct like 1,000 points away, you have to take a hedge. So in that case, I had selected monthly.
वो तो बहुतों के साथ हो चुका है, right? कोडिंग वाला. So code में that is a different issue. When you code, you have to be very careful. And best way is once you do any changes in the code, never go directly and take the trade. Always do a paper trade to verify, so that any issues happen, it will happen in paper. But what you guys do, आप लोगों को तो कुछ ज्यादा ही जल्दबाजी होती है पैसे कमाने की. आप तो कुछ से तो कुछ चेंज करते हो और फटाक एकदम से शून्य में इंटीग्रेट करके सटासट तक ट्रेड, और वो वेरीफाई भी नहीं करना होता, इतना कॉन्फिडेंस होता है. बाद में मुझे मैसेज आता है कि अरे आज तो ये हो गया, वो हो गया, राइट? That also needs to be taken care.
And one more thing, what you can do is, as you know, what time we do selling or buying. So once the trade gets executed, always make sure that you just go to your account and verify. If it is taken proper execution, then you can do other work parallel. But the thing here is, if you don't do, and it happened with me, luckily on that day it was on the upside. So it happened to like, it was a lucky day for me, but it will not always happen. So that is the thing which you should always take care of. I mean, this unknowingly, these kind of mistakes you should be able to. So learn from others' mistakes. Then, so this is what I was trying to say. Like, so instead of taking the hedge of 16, 19, 20 rupees, I took some other expiry on monthly expiry and it was like 700 rupees. Okay, so these kind of things happen. Now the thing here is, see, always whenever you're doing any call or put sell, so first thing is you have to go to your basket and check, put all the strikes whichever you want to sell, and then check for the margin. This is very important. The reason is sometimes what happens, the exchange will raise the margin. If you have 3.5 lakhs, they will ask like something 3.8 or something like that sometimes.
Yeah, and mostly that will happen when market starts falling suddenly. Wicks start shooting up, your margin will go for a toss. So maybe like in low wicks, you are doing some lots with 3.5 lakh, and suddenly wicks goes to 16, 17. So it can become 4.1 also. In that case, what can happen? In your code, you are selling 2 lots. आपको लगेगा ये तो 2 lot मेरा हो जाएगा, but that day because of the margin issue, आपका एक साइड का ही जाएगा. Only call or put will go, and so that is why doing trading even with algo is like driving a plane on autopilot. You can't fly a plane without a pilot. Autopilot never pilot किधर है? So you are the pilot.
Always keep in mind and check before. I mean, earlier days, like in the night, you can check the margin. On the next day, also you can check the margin. And whenever, let's assume, like he suggests triangle also. Triangle in the sense, apart from your at the money, which is let's assume like Bank Nifty at 43,900. Let's assume we want to sell 500 points away, 500 points below. So in that case, also you can do this. You have to always check the market. You have to place the order. Never do, single trades, keeping in a watch list and just directly go and place the buy or sell, sell orders of, call or put. Never do at a time. Not at a time. It's never do single. Do always at a time. And these are the mistakes which I did. So that's the reason, I'm also suggesting. The reason is if you take, let's assume you are sold 43,900 and you are taking 1 minute time to put the another call sell. By the time if one big candle comes, you are lost.
Here, I know these people what they do, so let me add my name. So what he's trying to say, sometimes let's say you forgot to generate your token. Okay, time हो गया 9:35 में trade जाना था and you missed it, but still you want to do the trading. So abhi you can't go in algo and do all those things. So simple way is you log into your Shunya account and you can sell CEP annually, correct? But what people may do mistake is first they will go to watch list, they will sell C first 100 quantity. उसके बाद जैसे आपने C बेचा, पीछे से कुछ तो आवाज आ गया, कुछ तो कॉल आ गया, आप उधर अटेंड करने लेट से चले गए, और इवन लेट से आपको पता है कि करना है, तो one by one you do C, then you go find P, and then you do P, let's say. स्पेशली सी में भी हो सकता है, बट इमेजिन पी में हो गया, आपने पहले पी बेच दिया 100 और जैसे आपने बेचा कुछ तो न्यूज आ गया वहां पे, इट हैपेंस, आई हैव सीन इट, विद इन नो सेकंड 100 रुपीस पी विल गो टू 400. तो बाय द टाइम यू आर सर्चिंग सी एंड ऑल दैट, already you will see -12,000. अब आप क्या करोगे? So never do that, never do individually. Whenever we are selling a triangle or a straddle, always we have to do via basket. That is the what he's trying to say. Basket से करना, individually नहीं करना. Individually you can do when you are doing any directional buying or selling. कि एक ही हमको करना है CP. But there you need to put stop loss immediately. In basket when you do whatever, the execution will happen together. तो एक बढ़ेगा तो दूसरा घटेगा.
And also if anyone is doing options, always keep track of what are the differences. So whenever you click on the information, so you can also see there is a difference. Can you see here? It is 52 and this is 54. So let's assume आपने individually ले लिया. So when the instruction comes, you miss the instruction and you are trying to do individually. Always keep in mind these two differences. If it is nearby, you can take it. Especially in stock options, there will be huge difference. It will be something like 3 rupees, 2 rupees, sometimes even 1 rupee also. Let's assume आपने sell कर लिया. And you think, you thought it is a wrong trade. आपने बाहर निकालना है तो you have to pay the price. So there will be a 1 rupee difference or 2 rupee difference. So even though you do, you just execute, you have to always see these are two differences which you have to always keep in mind before you take any other trades manually on your own.
So basically here Manjesh what is trying to say, this thing matters a lot when we are dealing with instruments with low liquidity, correct? So in stock options, like you can see this is persistent. So this is stock options for persistent expiry 25th May. So in stock options, one lot will be like 3,000 quantity, 4,000 quantity kind of. So the difference that you see 2 rupees between bid and ask. So bid means the buyer wants to buy at 52 rupees, but the seller is selling at 54. That is the order. So let's say if you go into a market order, so market order means you want to buy. So you are looking to buy at 52, but your execution will happen at 54 because that is the order which will match there. Getting the point? So what will happen? Immediately 2 rupees to gone, 8,000 rupees. So let's say 4,000 quantity here. So 1 point movement gives you 4,000 rupees. 2 point movement means 8,000 gone, and you are already 8,000 behind. Correct? Because you are buying at 54. Did you get it? In Bank Nifty, there is not much of an issue because there is a lot of liquidity there. So buy and this bid and ask difference won't be much, and also their quantity is only 25. So if any one of you maybe in future will do stock options also, this is very, very critical. Got it, na? Bid and ask. So that is where you need to be very careful.
And that is why PWP is helping only to do option trading in Bank Nifty. This is one of the reasons. Okay, so always keep in mind. I mean, as you know, you start learning things, and if you move to any of the stocks on your own, this could be a very costly.
This is also called slippage. ये भी एक तरह का slippage है कि आप ये expect कर रहे हो but execution कहीं और पे होता है, correct?
Then let's assume he suggests to buy at 50 rupees. The current market price is at 70 rupees. So whenever the price is coming low and you have to buy, and this is how you have to place. You have to place limit order. So limit order means whatever price you want to go and buy, you can mention it there. So currently it is 382 rupees, but I want to buy at 370 rupees. So in this case, you should not go and place an order, market order. If you place an order at market order, it gets executed at this price. You have to wait. So based on the instruction, let's assume some of the times he mentions like, currently it is 70 rupees. If it is goes below 60 rupees, you can go and place an order. And this is how you have to place. And these things, especially you get an instruction on expiry days. The reason is like the 50 rupees can become 200 rupees also. I will tell you the reason why he suggests such things is there is a concept called escape velocity. Now, what do you mean by escape velocity is if any price or anything which goes out of the gravity, it flies. So whenever there are options and goes at certain level and it surpasses that level, it flies on that direction. So that is what he will mention. So you should always place limit order in such cases. So when you place limit order, there is a chances like, let's assume if it don't come at this level, your trade will not be lost. Most people what they'll think, okay, he has given he has suggested, so I'll see at this price and I'll buy. Let's say like from this it can go. So that fake thing also can happen.
And sometimes, especially in buying, as Vincent mentioned about escape velocity. So what you will observe now, it is in a range 160 to 180, 160 to 180, 160 to 180 is going on, right? So कई बार you will get frustrated and you will think, चलो 170 पे ले लेते हैं. We should never do that. If we have to buy, we will look for the breakout beyond 180. So that is why I will suggest buy at 185. Although it is currently trading at 170, so you will feel कि यार why to buy at a higher price when I am getting it at a lower price? ऐसा mindset आएगा ना कि 170 में ले सकते हैं, then why to wait for 185? Happen or not? Never do that. The reason why 185 is important because the moment it crosses 180, chances are higher it will fly. From 185 it will go to 240. So trading is all about patience. It's not about me just jump on the board. So you have to wait. Same thing goes for selling. If I'm looking to sell something, I will not sell at 180 because chances are higher that I will sell 180, it will go to 200. कभी नहीं बेचना है. So what we'll do, हम 20 point गवाएंगे, it's okay, but we'll wait for it to break down to 160. The moment it comes beyond 160, it will go to 120. Got it now? So that is how you place the limit orders.
So in this limit order, one more thing is like, let's assume it is 382. If you want to buy at the lower price, you can place as a limit order. Let's assume it is 382 and you want to buy at the 400. So you have to do stop loss limit order, which he will show. Now see here, this is how we will place the stop loss. So how many of you don't know how to place stop loss? This is very much important. The reason is what is in your hand is this is one. This is the only thing which is there in your hand.
This is your parachute while you are jumping. If you don't put stop loss, you are jumping without a parachute.
The reason is, I'll tell you, there are so many times I've seen from 150 it has gone to 1000 rupees. let's assume you are sold at 150 rupees. If you have not placed the 170 or 180 as a stop loss, you will book at 1000 rupees. And it has happened in matter of 5 minutes.
Manjesh, it happened on budget day, February 1st, right? So we sold options in the morning, market was going up, we were making money from P, remember? And when the options came around 70, 80, I asked all of you to exit, correct? And you, all of you exited, correct? 70 rupees booked very good profit. And the same option which we exited at 70, after around an hour, market fell by 1,000 points and that option came to 700. And imagine if someone sold at 70 thinking कि अभी तो और गिरेगा, market ऊपर ही जा रहा है, never assume anything in market. Things move so fast, so the 70 will go to 700. So if you are selling at 70, put a stop loss of 90 or something so that you don't have to pay there, right?
Correct. So here in this case, let's assume if you are bought at 441 and I'm placing it at, let's assume 420 as my stop loss. Now here the thing here is you have to also mention what is the difference. So I'm given difference here is 1 rupee. You can increase the difference and you can place the order. So the reason is when market falls. So if there is no price or if there is no order which is getting in this price, your stop loss will not be hit. So always keep more, let's assume 4 or 5 points far away and we can place the order as a stop loss.
I will always suggest to put even 40 points, no problem. Because I hope you got this point. So there are two windows you can see. One is trigger, one is the price. When you put a stop loss order. So for example, this is trading at 441. Okay. And you have bought this option. Buy kiya aapne. So when you have bought, you want to keep a stop loss of 420. Correct? So if you keep a stop loss trigger at 420 and price is 490, what it means, the moment the price comes 420, your order will get triggered, right? And then it will start looking for matching price. And if your price is 419, but let's say the fall is sudden, this is a call option, correct? And let's say suddenly market makes a 300-point candle in a minute. So 440 will come to 240. Or maybe 440 to 360, correct? So in that case, this stop loss itself will be ignored by the system. Usko order mila nahi na. So that is why if you are keeping a trigger 420, put the price as 380. 40 points ka difference rakho, because 99% of the time your prices will get executed around 420. Either it will be 480, 450, not more than that. But 1% of the time, if you get missed, it will be complete miss. So that does not happen. That is why you should always keep 380, 370. If you are aware, right? I see few people taking a nap and all. अभी nap लोगे, बाद में बड़ा वाला nap आ जाएगा वो
costly हो जाएगा.
So listen carefully.
Now, this is what we were talking about earlier. Let's assume the price is at 443. Okay. And you want to buy at 450 rupees. That means what? The escape velocity. The moment it breaks this, it can go on the higher side. So in that case, you have to select stop loss and it should be a buy order. Okay. So these things most of the time he will mention on Finifty expert.
Right. So when you are selling, this will be your stop loss window. Like अगर आपने sell करके रखा है, तो in your case of stop loss, this will show as a buy window. This is clear, na? Because आपने sell किया है. So when you put a stop loss, it will be look like a buy. And in case of buy, what will happen? Price from 435 will go up because that is your stop loss. You don't want it to go up. And if you keep like 450, 451, price goes up suddenly, spike comes, the stop loss will get skipped.
So always keep the difference little higher, something like 20, 30 points, but your trigger price should be there. So what it means is like you are giving an instruction to the broker saying that at this price, you have to buy this order. Let's assume you have sold at something like 430 rupees. And if it breaks 450, you have to get out. So that's what it means. This is one more thing which is available as of now. I mean, this is, I don't think so it's available in the Film Asia. This is available in Trade Genie, where there's something called as bracket order. So in this, what you can do is, let's assume you are trying to buy, the current market is 480. You want to buy at 500 rupees. Means if it breaks, you go to buy. In this case, let's assume your target is 40 rupees and your stop loss is 10 rupees. And there is, you can also mention the trial stop loss. Now, what does it mean is, the moment the 500, your buy order gets triggered, let's assume if the price goes 540, immediately targets achieve and your stop loss order will get cancelled. Let's assume if it goes to 530, the current market price, if it goes to 530, so automatically what happens? There's a 30-point increase. The stop loss will get shifted from 482, let's assume 476 to, it will get shifted 30 rupees automatically. Now the thing, how does it help is, you need not do trailing stop loss manually. System will take care automatically. There's an option. So every time what happens, whenever you go to a pending order, you always trial the stop loss, or you change the stop loss and you move on the upper side. So there is a system which is already available, where you can directly mention what is your stop loss and how you can trial, and this will help you out. You need not do continuously.
So basically, bracket order is a feature. It's more like a very sophisticated one, I would say, because in one order you can give target as well as stop loss plus trailing also. Trailing means you know, right? For example, you bought at 440, and after you bought 440, it gone to 480. So you can trail 20 points, which means now your stop loss becomes 460. Then again it goes 20 points, then it again shifts by 20 points. In TradeTron, we have a trailing methodology for PNL. Because a lot of times what happens, let's say you got 5,000 profit and you don't want to lose that 5,000 profit, right? So there is a method where you can trail your profits. So you can keep where it will start, and then for every 1,000 profit increases, your minimum profit will keep shifting. Correct. So in that case, whenever the market reverses or your position reverses, you come back to same profit, you are out of the trade. I hope you understood, right? So that is called trailing. Trailing is very important. But why we are not doing it now? Because positions you are playing with very less, 1 lot, 2 lot, 3 lot. So but once you go with higher position, that time trailing is very important.
Especially if you go in more than 5 lots or 10 lots.
10 lots.
This kind of trailing is very important.
Very important, because you don't want to lose the good profit, whatever you have won, right? And bracket order currently is not available with Shunya, okay, and also not available in Zerodha also, I guess. Few brokers are there who provide it. So one of them is Trade Genie. If you don't have bracket order, you have to place 2 orders. One for your target, one for your stop loss. Both you can place simultaneously, but the moment one is achieved, you have to cancel the second manually. Get right? And one more thing, I think, Manjesh, you wanted to add it. When you place a stop loss order, and let's say instead of stop loss, you are getting very good profit. So what do? You will exit from positions, click and exit. And after that, maybe you will exit from your computer also. But that stop loss order is still there. It may get executed. And then don't say, oh, I don't know, my profit was there, or everything vanished. Evening, it negative. So, apne aap kuch nahi hota hai, right? We do some mistakes. Plus, other times, what I've seen is, let's say you have sold something and buy ka aapne order laga ke rakha hai, stop loss. And then you forget it and you try to exit from there, and the broker keeps sending message not allowed, and you don't understand ho kya raha hai. Is that happened with you? It happened. So use your common sense, go and check your pending orders, because all margin की वजह से it will not allow you to do it again, right? क्योंकि वैसे सब tight margin में खेलते हो, है ना? 2 लॉट है तो 3,80,000 लेके बैठे हैं, 5-10 रुपया में भी हो जाता है. So all these things will happen, right?
And one more thing is like whenever you square off, if you are done manually, go check your pending orders. In a position you should have squared off, but in the pending orders it will be there. That's why stop loss you would have kept. So you have to always, whenever you clear your position, always
Clear all the pending orders.
All
Otherwise, you can go to the pending order, and if you want to exit, pending order को limit से market करके exit करता. तो भी हट जाएगा.
That is the best way.
Right? You go to pending orders, select the thing, and because that is a limit order, उसको limit से market करके exit कर. तो फिर everything will be cleaned up. Because here I will tell you, initially ना, everyone will lose some money because of execution. पैसे गवा देते हैं, तो वो थोड़ा सा careful रह के बचाया जा सकता है.
And one more thing is like there is a GTT order which is already available.
Good tills traded, right? It's called good tills traded.
So this is also same thing like there is a two option there. Whenever you go to any broker, like you have orders and there is also a GTT order. So if you are placing any GTT order, you have to go to GTT orders and check the pending orders. It will not be there in normal orders. I have made a mistake, so that is the reason I am telling you.
Right here, GTT order will show in GTT only. It won't show in pending. Or GTT will get triggered when
whenever it comes. It is not like today only. It comes some other day also.
Yes, GTT can happen other day also, because it will keep in pending. The order which you place in system, that is valid for that day. But GTT orders are valid. Its name is good tills traded. So till it's traded, it will hold good. Did you get this terminology? GTT? Goods still traded. मतलब एक बार मैंने बोल दिया कि आनंद जी 500 रुपए में माल उठाना है, तो आनंद जी वो दिमाग में रखे हैं कि 500 में माल उठाना है. अभी वो जब तक उठाएंगे नहीं, वो शांत नहीं बैठने वाले. Get it? But when you do a pending order, that will hold only good for that day itself. तो आज नहीं हुआ तो खत्म, कल के लिए टेंशन नहीं है. Correct? So this is another way. Basically for stocks and all, people use it.
We were doing initially GTT order.
GTT. When I was doing manual trading, same system. When we didn't had algo, we used to do GTT. Stop loss भी लगा दिया, सब लगा दिया. In zero था. Right now we don't need it, but it's good for you to know, because in case there is some good opportunity in any stocks or anything, so we can place a GTT order. Okay, this stock, if it reaches this level, I will buy, or any options, I will take it. Right, and then you can leave it. It will take care. Okay. Not trade run. This is from broker only, right?
If you are doing whatever we have seen, it's all broker.
All broker. Trade run, it's not required. GTT में हाँ ये हो जाएगा. अगर मान लो मैंने प्राइस डाला है 56 का, हाँ कुछ ब्रेकआउट हुआ तो if that price comes again, it will get executed, right? अगर उसके beyond बहुत ऊपर चला गया तो नहीं होगा. Then it won't happen, right? And another thing, so in with broker, when we put a stop loss and what Tradetron does, there are a lot of differences. Number one difference is broker, whatever you are placing, this is available at exchange. Anyone can see these stop losses. Mostly these days, operators, they can see the stop loss, they can clearly see the levels. And you would have observed a lot of times market will take a move, just take your stop loss, immediately फिर जिधर जा रहा था उधर ही जाता है, होता है ना? And we are frustrated कि साला क्यों आया ये, मतलब very stop loss नहीं रहता है, right? So that happens because they know, and that is the problem with putting stop losses in system. Everywhere it is visible. But when you do algo does not make any stop loss visible, because algo is like, for example, she is the algo. So she is like a watchman or watchwoman. उसको बोला गया है कि तुम बस ये देखते रहो प्राइस, the moment the price crosses, you send instruction. तो वो उसको पता है, algo को पता है, किसी और को नहीं पता है. Right, that is why algo trading is getting a lot of significance. A lot of people are moving, especially people who are doing bulk orders. They don't want their stop losses to get revealed. If you put bulk order in the system, Manjesh can also go and see your stop loss. Kidhar laga hua hai. It's so simple. Right? There are software which will tell you.
Sure.
And when you know that, you will execute it. Like
There one more point which I'll add. There are two kind of data which is available from the NSE, which normal retailer won't get. There's something called as L2 data. There is something called as L1 data. L1 data is always will be available for FIs or institutes. L2 data will be able to get via different software. So that is the reason, like all institution players, if someone is placing the big orders, they will come, they will get. Because they will be able to see those kind of orders.
L1 and L2 data, correct. So FII, DII, these are big people, right? Who place orders in thousands of crores. That is why I will, when we take next module, I will tell you why it is very important to always be with big people only. And you know, that is the support and distance is so important. Another thing in algo is, if you place some order in your broker and your broker goes down, फिर क्या होगा? Your order will still get placed, right? Because that order is goes to exchange. So अगर मैंने यहाँ पे system में लगाया तो it will go to execution. When broker goes down, does not worry. But when you put a stop loss with via TradeTron and broker goes down, तो broker को तो दिख गया price cross हुआ. Broker algo will go to broker and say execute करो, but broker तो down है. In that case, वो hit नहीं होगा. It will keep trying and you will get error on TradeTron. Getting the point?
To add one more point.
Retail L2, like buy some software. L1 though we can't see.
So to add one more point, like whenever you are placing stop loss, when you are placing the, let's assume you are placing the order and your broker is live, and if you place the order, stop loss order, it will go to the exchange. Even the broker goes down, that will get placed. But when the broker goes down and you are trying to place, it will not.
When the broker is down, so you can't do anything.
In that case, always have two accounts. If the broker goes down, one broker goes down, you have to place opposite order in the other broker, which is very, very, very important.
So this point, I think I have told you so many times. So everyone make sure you have two accounts. For example, if we have sold, let's say put एक दिन तो हमने call put sell किया, market goes up, call stop loss is gone, we are only holding put, correct? Let's say put price is 230, currently trading 180, and now broker goes down, right? Shunyan, Chalni, Raya, any other broker. So we don't know if the broker is down or other market, let's say reverses, its put prices start increasing 230, 260, 270. So TradeTron will see price gone, stop loss is there, it will trigger a stop loss, but it won't get executed in Shunya, correct? So the moment at any point of time, if you see some order is there, broker is down, immediately go to other account, right? For example, if the put price is 180, 100 quantity, so 18,000 rupees will be required to buy the same quantity, 180 rupees, 100 quantity. Now you are safe. Because after that point of time, you are break even. Let's say अगर उधर already profit था, अब इसके बाद क्या हुआ कि वो गिर ही रहा, 180 से 100 आ गया, तो भी टेंशन नहीं, because वो 180 का 280 भी तो जा सकता था ना. So you already will make money because जो profit यहाँ पे होगा वो loss वहाँ पे हो जाएगा. It's a copy. But imagine 180 का कोई बड़ा news आ गया और वो 600 700 चला गया put. Stop loss तो hit हुआ नहीं. But अगर आपने वो buy किया 180 का तो उधर पैसा बन रहा है ना दूसरे account में. Correct ना? So very important. This is very important. So whenever that happens, see, nothing is in our control. System, softwares, broker, right? हम तो बस अपना काम कर रहे हैं. But if at all it happens, this is our disaster recovery plan. Have a broker, buy. Tension नहीं लेना है. Overnight position, मान लो broker down है ना तो अगले दिन carry होगा. Correct? ठीक है? So thank you, Manjesh.